Let's go.
WK2FM, world knowledge to free minds, and you're behind at the same time.
WK2FM, world knowledge to free minds, and you're behind at the same time. It's Kamisi Fox. Yeah. Earlier, I had to, I recorded something, but it was Kamisi going back into the final call. But this time I went to the final call. I went into a strong article. The article was part one of an exclusive interview by Charlene Muhammad. And the title is Brilliant Black Scientist Speaks Out on C-19 VAC Mandates and U.S. Policy of Depopulation. As you know, that's a touchy subject right there. And if you talk about that, PukeTube don't want you to talk about it. The censorship is real. So I had to put that somewhere else. I can't put that on YouTube. What you need to do, if you want to check that one out, go to WK2FM.com. You'll see it there, and you will also see, you'll see my commentary and everything. You'll see the video. You might can listen to it on iHeartRadio, Spotify, things like that. Go check it out. Can't put it on PukeTube for obvious reasons. So what I'm going to do now, since I still wanted to make a PukeTube video, I'm going back into the 48 Laws of Black Empowerment by Dante Fortson. How about that? Let's go back into the 48 Laws of Black Empowerment by Dante Fortson. We need that. And I'm going straight over here to law number 8, which is where I left off at law number 8. And it's preceded with a quote. It's preceded with a quote by Nikki Giovanni. If you don't understand yourself, you don't understand anybody else. And that's Nikki Giovanni. Words of wisdom. Let's go. Law number 8. Law number 8 is know when to be a follower. Know when to be a follower. Make sure I get it. All right. Everyone wants to be the HNIC, and that's understandable in most circumstances, but there's no shame in knowing when to follow the lead of someone else. The alpha mentality is what holds a lot of our progress back. We make it about competing to see who's an alpha and who's beta, but with no clear plan where the alpha intends to lead. If you don't have a plan to lead, then follow and help the leader get to where they're leading to the best of your ability. That makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Being a follower. I've been a follower. You know what I'm saying? I followed the Black Power General. You know what I'm saying? When somebody is a leader, you let them lead. Don't let your ego get in the way. The ego is a protective thing. You use it to protect yourself, but you should not let the ego take over too much. Your ego has a purpose. It's there to protect you. It's there to protect that inner person. But you got to know when to let the ego subside. You got to, use the ego accordingly. All right, because some people say the ego is just totally bad. It's not. The ego is necessary. Okay, the ego is there for protection, to protect your inner self. Okay. Being a follower isn't always a bad thing. If your child was hurt and a doctor told you exactly what to do, would you play alpha and refuse to take orders, or would you do everything in your power to follow their directions exactly as given so that you could help your child? We would all do the latter. We should take this same attitude when it comes to our own people. This ties back into knowing our strengths and weaknesses. Yeah, and this is also, once again, that's another why they overdevelop ego in the public school system, so that you are off balance. This is why we need male and female too when it comes to raising children and things like that, for balance. The ego can get strong sometimes, and sometimes you need that other person to balance you out, to It's all about balance. It's all about meiotic balance and controlling that ego, because the ego is a very tricky thing. Like I said, it's there for protection, but sometimes it can take over. Okay? Cultural importance. People like MLK and Malcolm X wouldn't be who they are if it weren't for their supporters. Harriet Tubman couldn't have led people to freedom if they weren't willing to follow. And here's a quote. And he spake a parable unto them. Can the blind lead the blind? Shall they not both fall into the ditch? And that's from Luke chapter 6, verse 39. All right, well, this leads us on into power number 9. Law number 9 of black empowerment. It didn't take long. What's the final thing I got to say about number 8? Know when to be a follower. Know when to be a follower. That's an easy one, especially when you want to go somewhere and you know that somebody can get you there faster. Yeah, fall back. Fall back. That's what grown people do. You know what I'm saying? It's the spirit of Urugu, which comes through the people of no color that throw us off in Urugu, that makes us want to go against our best interests. You know what I'm saying? It's that ego that says that I know what's best. Yeah, you have to subdue that. All right, here's one, number 9. Oh boy, this one here is not going to be popular. I can tell you that right now. This is the 48 Laws of Black Empowerment by Dante Fortson. This is law number 9. Question your pastor. Question your pastor. Knowing who to follow is just as important as allowing yourself to follow. In the black church, it is considered borderline blasphemy to question a black pastor. It doesn't matter which religion you follow, you need to question the leader when the leader behaves or teaches in a manner that doesn't lead to the betterment of our people. While you should double check all doctrine, this is more so about how the money is handled. Oh boy, you just opened a major can of worms with that one. I'd say that the pastor should definitely be questioned and should be challenged. Not just questioned, but to be challenged, to do the right thing with all of his freedom and all of that economic, because in my opinion, the churches are economic drains in the community. All of the money that can be used for economic development, to build shopping districts, business districts, all of that goes into the church and goes straight to waste, because the pastor in his inner circle uses it for his lifestyle. Oh, churches are definitely economic drainage centers. So, when he says question your pastor in this first paragraph right here, I can go even deeper into that. Question your pastor and challenge your pastor. Me personally, I think a group of black men in particular need to visit all of these pastors and say, look, we're either gonna, our support is gonna be based on what you do from now on. It's not gonna be just on you saving souls and collecting all this money. You can save souls for free. Doesn't cost any money to put hands on people and save souls. But people are giving you real money, and we're not getting anything in return for that. The money is going out, but none of it is going into the community. So that's a doozy. Number 9 here, question your pastor. I can really talk about that one for a while. Well, let me read on, see what else brother has to say. But he's opened up a can of worms with that one. Ask if you can sit in on a board meeting or a financial meeting if your place of worship offers it. If not, ask if you can see the books. It's your money and you have the right to know where it's going. If they refuse, then take your money elsewhere. If it seems like they're misusing or misappropriating funds, take your money elsewhere. Far too long, hustlers in suits have been using the black community as a personal piggy bank by posing as preachers, prophets, and apostles. Well, we on the same page now. Then they take that money and spend it on luxuries made by people that don't look like us. Amen, brother. This has to stop, and we don't have to say a word. All we have to do is remove our money from the equation, and their scam will fall apart. If you do have a chance to sit in and everything looks on the up and up, then continue to support your place of worship, especially if it's within our community. We can weed out the good and bad by making the personal decision to stop financially enabling wolves in sheep's clothing. Oh boy. You said a mouthful right there, brother. These churches are economic drains. Yes. And and you could take the combined power of each of the churches in our community. I don't know. See, the community where I'm from, churches, not only just where I'm from, I see it all the time. Churches can be very in close proximity of each other in the black community. One can be right across the street from each other. And then sometimes you see the storefront churches in the business parks. You see churches right beside each other. I mean, like, the members of one church can reach over and slap the members of the other church. That's how close they are. But the churches have different names. They don't congregate, they don't fellowship, and they definitely don't combine funds for the greater good of the community. So you end up with a bunch of churches, but no businesses, no development. With all these churches and all the money that they raise, we should see other things other than just churches. All right? We should see churches. We should see businesses. We should see restaurants. We should be able to even build schools and hospitals and blah, 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 and so on and so on. So brother has really stepped on something right there. And he says the cultural importance. He gives the cultural importance of that. Black church leadership has historically been viewed by the United States government and other organizations as a means of controlling the black community. Black pastors were paid off and indoctrinated to disseminate ideas that were of benefit to Europeans, but to the detriment of black Americans. And there is a quote, "But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that brought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction." Oh yeah, indeed. And that was empowered. That was the 9th law of black empowerment. A very important one right there. I can say some more about that church. I can say more about that. You know, churches in close proximity with each other, but don't put that money together financially. Yes, I think a contingent of the black community should step to these churches, all of them, and do just what he said in here. We on the same page. If they don't want to get on the good foot and put that money back into the community, then everybody should remove their money. That's going to be a hard one right there, because the spell of ignorance is cast over the people, and propaganda and everything keeps the ignorance going, because quite frankly, people live off the ignorance in the black community. Us getting our stuff together means the loss of money for the hustlers, right? For the charlatans. So that's part of the war right there too, by the way. Because we're gonna face resistance trying to make that organization do right, because they're backed by the government. They've all made deals with the devil. The 501c3 is that deal with the devil. Number 10, embrace technology. Embrace technology. This is the 48 laws of black empowerment, number 10. We've cracked open the book, the 48 laws of black empowerment, one more time. This is Kamisi Fox, WK2FM. We're inside the laws, the 48 laws of black empowerment. Yeah. And these are some good ones too. Number 10, embrace technology. It seems like our people are always the last to embrace new technologies. Not only do we need to educate ourselves about what technology is available to us, but we also need to start learning how to implement that technology into our business and personal lives beyond being a consumer. More of us need to learn how to build our own websites, get our products listed on Amazon, get our music on Spotify, publish our own books, integrate affiliate programs into our online businesses, and more. The further we fall behind when it comes to embracing technology, the further the wealth gap will get. And that's true. That's true. And that ties back into, once again, about the churches, because the churches could create these, it can create some education centers where we can actually learn. There's so much that can be done when the money starts to meet the great ideas that we have. People have a lot of great ideas, but a lot of times we fall short money-wise. And it doesn't have to be like that. It just doesn't. So, he goes on to say too, every major social network and e-commerce site is owned by people that don't look like us. While it's unrealistic to think that Facebook or Amazon are going away anytime soon, it shouldn't stop us from building our own online communities that serve our needs. We don't need to create another Facebook, but there's nothing stopping us from creating our own local websites that serve as media outlets to share our news from our perspectives. And this is what I know. We definitely can do it. This is 100% doable. The question is, why haven't we done it? Why don't we do it? Right? Because there's some anti-us going on. And that's what keeps us from doing a lot of things. We're very much anti-us. He goes on to say, how others use technology isn't necessarily meant to cater to us. We need to start developing platforms, apps, and other ways of serving our own businesses and communities better. And we got to stop thinking that everything that is just ours, as long as it's just us, we don't see any value in it. We have this slave mentality that unless it's embraced or looked at or acknowledged by the people of no color, then it's not worth a damn. That is a sickness we have in our own head about ourselves. That's some more of that anti-self mentality. We need therapy. Point blank, we need therapy because that holds us back. The way we see ourselves, our self-image is horrible. We can be doing great things. And another thing, I want to say that we are happy to just, I think that in some ways we use Black History Month to stay pacified. And what I'm saying is we're happy as long as we can talk about ourselves in a positive light once a month every year. And we think we've done our job. Our self-esteem only comes in February. For a hot second, we start talking about ourselves and our accomplishments, but we should be doing that all year. And doing it once a month only maintains our status quo of self-hatred all year long. As long as we get to kind of like talk about it, big up ourselves for a month, and then we can go back to acting like a flunky for the rest of the other 11 months of the year. Yeah, that's something that we do. We got to stop that. We got to break free of that. That 1 month thing, there's something to that. That has to either be increased or we should drop it all together. That's got to increase to 12 months or just stop it all together. Because doing it in a loop every month, every February, that keeps us stuck psychologically, if you think about it. Okay? That's just something I thought of. Cultural importance. We don't want our people to fall behind. Historically, we're responsible for most of the technologies that have allowed America and other parts of the world to thrive. We need to continue on in this legacy by being innovators of technology and not just adopters. And here's a quote from Madam C.J. Walker. She says, I am a woman who came from the cotton fields of the South. From there, I was promoted to the wash tub. From there, I was promoted to the cook kitchen. And from there, I promoted myself into the business of manufacturing hair goods and preparations. I have built my own factory on my own ground. Salute, Madam C.J. Walker. Speaking with that black empowerment. Yeah, that's black empowerment talking right there. Yes, and since we have the land, if we all understand who we are, the melanated people of Africa, the resources are right there. Africa should be running the world. Why doesn't it? Why does everybody else come there and excavate the riches from Africa to make their societies work while the societies right there in Africa suffer? There's some backwardness going on, y'all. We might all need therapy, but we need to get there's something we need to fix in our mind. We got the vibranium and everything. We just don't want to make it work for us. That's got to stop. All right, I'm going to hit number 11, and I think I'm going to sign off after number 11. I'm 21 minutes deep into this thing. And like I said, I did one earlier, but I can't post that one because it is too controversial. It's talking about that stupid 19. You know what I'm saying? That stupid 19 mandate. So we're not gonna tempt YouTube with that one. That would surely get me another strike. So that one you can get on WK2FM.com. Go to WK2FM.com. And you can see the second part of me cracking open that final call. And the final call is on their duty because they going hard on that mandate, you know. And I think that needs to be done. I think it's good that they doing that. You know what I'm saying? The final call ain't playing around. They're talking about the depopulation and everything. And that's something we all need to be thinking about is depopulation. That's some real stuff. Like I said, I can't go into it now because I don't want to tempt PubeTube. Right now, this is Kamisi Fox. This is WK2FM. We're in the 48 Laws of Black Empowerment. Number 11, know your worth. Well, isn't that what I was just talking about? Know your worth. If we knew our worth, it would be all over. This government spends billions of dollars to keep us from knowing our worth. There's a billion, multi-billion, probably trillion, gazillion dollars spent to keep us from knowing our worth. That's why they keep these celebrities well paid, and because they're well paid to keep us, to keep the blinders over our eyes, to keep us looking at them and not looking at ourselves, knowing our true worth. The celebrities are part of the problem. Best believe that, if you really look at it. And as soon as I say that, somebody say, well, you just hating on them. See, once again, we don't know our worth because we're looking at the wrong things. We stuck on stupid. Anyway, number 11. We're in the 48 Laws of Black Empowerment. Number 11, know your worth. One of my favorite stories is how Master P turned down $1 million offer because he knew that if it was being offered $1 million, he was worth a lot more. Our entertainers are often lowballed in their contracts because those companies understand our worth. Because of our experiences, we often undervalue ourselves. If it seems like the opportunity being presented can change our situation for the better. You know, we don't look down the road. You know, we know the old white man, I'll cut you a check. And then our eyes get big. As soon as you start throwing around figures. We act very much like slaves, making it rain in the club. All that's some nigger rich, how much money you got in your pocket. That's some nigger rich stuff right there. Nigger rich is the amount of money that you can stuff inside your pockets. And when we make it rain, we're acting just like slaves. Oh yeah, and when we doing the money phones and the way we just goof off with money, play with monopoly money, Federal Reserve notes, we play with it like children. That's some slave shit all day long. We do it. Point blank, period. Moving on. If you currently work a 9 to 5, set a realistic minimum hourly amount that you want and get it. If you own a business, figure out how much you want to make and make it happen. If you're an entertainer and you're being offered 15% and you know you can match that on your own with 1/6 of the fans, go independent and cut out the middleman completely. Don't sign anything or accept any job that undervalues you. That's how they've been getting rich off of us since the beginning. It is the same mentality that prevents them from paying reparations to us. Yeah. While they pay them to everyone else, they've done wrong. They know our worth, but don't want to pay us what we're worth. Cultural importance says people don't enslave people for 400 years if they aren't worth anything. Europeans have made money off of everything we've created. From the cotton gin to rap music, they've known how much money we could potentially generate for them from the start. We are not worthless as they've led many of us to believe. And the quote here is from Marion Wright Edelman. She says, "The outside world told black kids when I was growing up that we weren't worth anything. But our parents said it wasn't so. And our churches and our school teachers said it wasn't so. They believed in us, and we therefore believed in ourselves." Amen. And we need to keep it up. We need to be doing that. And when we stop doing that, that's when we stop believing in ourselves. We need to get back to this is the key right here. Marion Wright Edelman talks about when they were kids, right? When she was when we teach our, what's that word? Ascendants, which is our children, not our descendants, but our ascendants, the ones that's going to go forward after we leave. When we teach our ascendants, when we start spending, knowing that the treasure is in our ascendants. A lot of us just don't get that. The treasure is in our ascendants. If we teach the ascendants properly, the rest takes care of itself. But we gotta teach them properly. We scared to teach them the truth that we weren't taught. We scared to teach them to rule because we weren't taught to rule. But that's the only way we're gonna overcome, is teaching the ascendants to rule, not just survive, but to rule. We say not to survive but thrive, but you don't thrive unless you rule. That's what it's going to be. The world is not going to allow black people to be equal. They leave us no alternative but to rule. We either rule or be ruled. Those are the two choices. Those are just the two choices. There's not a third choice. A lot of us just don't understand that. That's why I'm inside the 48 laws of black empowerment, with the key word in there being power. A lot of us, we just allergic to power. We just don't believe we can do it. We just don't believe we can do it. We don't believe we can be powerful because it's been taken from our mind. We watch the movies, we watch television, and none of that combined, our entertainment diet does not consist of black power. It just doesn't. For a short time it did in the late 80s and early 90s, during the golden age of rap. Empowerment was inside the music. For a hot second, they hurry up and ended that and ushered in gangster rap and all of that that came behind it. This is Kamisi Fox inside the 48 laws of black empowerment. I had to get into that because what I did earlier was I recorded a video and it was hard hitting, but I realized that it would have got a strike if I had loaded that onto YouTube. So what I did was just return back here to the 48 laws of black empowerment, and we still, this won't get us banned, but we kicking some empowerment stuff. They'll have to make up something to ban us, to give us a strike for this video. I I know ultimately black empowerment is illegal in America. Point blank period. Black empowerment, just like black manhood, is illegal in America. But just because it's illegal don't mean we ain't gonna do it because it's our birthright. See, our galactic sovereignty gives us the right to empower ourselves, no matter who likes it or doesn't like it. It's absolutely necessary in order for us to be free. We will not be free unless we exercise black empowerment. And that is, we have to conquer. We have to actually take over. Overcome means to actually overrun. Overcome and overrun means the same thing. Overcome means to conquer. That's what we really mean when we say we'll overcome. We shall overcome. Yes, because we're going to conquer. This is Kamisi Fox. I'm inside the 48 Laws of Black Empowerment with 30 minutes in, so I can go ahead and bring this thing to an end. You know what I'm saying? Go to WK2FM.com, WK2FM.com. Check me out on YouTube, Kamisi Fox. That's KHAMISIFOX. And you can also check out the backup channel, WK2FM. Not to be confused with WK2FM Radio, which is ran by DJ Wayne the Mix King. Check that out also. But also check out WK2FM. That's the backup channel. Backup YouTube channel. Like I said, my last video I couldn't put on there because, YouTube, the censorship of that subject is is real. The censorship is too real when it comes to that stupid 19. So, we're inside the 48 Laws. Check that out. This is Kamisi Fox for WK2FM, World Knowledge to Free Minds, and you're behind at the same time.
WK2FM, World Knowledge.